The year 2025 has honestly been a very interesting year for Fortnite's storyline with a lot going on. And well, this video is kind of like an explanation or a recap of all the lore and storyline that happened this year, running from chapter 6 to 7. So here is the 2025 storyline recap, which has been updated throughout the months and seasons of this year. Now to start things off, we need to head back to the remix finale live event, where after watching Juice WRLD, we woke up in the bridge to reunite with Hope and Jones, and Hope led us to the chapter 6 island. However, following right behind us was a shard of the 0 point. After chapter 4, the 0 point just blew up, leaving just very powerful shards of it scattering across the Omniverse, with one of these 0 point shards following us through the bridge and into reality 783, which is where it then crashed onto the Fortnite Chapter 6 island of Oninoshima. Yes, for the first time, Epic are actually giving their islands official names, and the name of the Chapter 6 island is Oninoshima. Now, this Japanese-based island of Oninoshima actually holds a lot of history. You see, centuries ago, the island was home to two very important syndicates in Fortnite lore, the Fox Clan and the River Guard, and as we learnt in chapter 4, they have always been rivals. But at one point they were at full-out war and would battle constantly. And one day the Fox Clan had enough. They wanted to destroy the crap out of the River Guard and take over the island for themselves. But the special thing is about the Fox Clan is that their powers come from their masks. And one day, the person who usually makes the masks for the Fox Clan decided to start adding demonic, evil magic inside of the masks. That would of course make the masks extremely more powerful. But this was good for the Fox Clan. They can finally wipe out the River Guard using evil, powerful magic. At least, that's what they thought. The magic that was put into their masks was so powerful, it all started to get out of control. Just out of the blue, killing innocent people and damaging the island. It was all too far. And it all led into something called the Shattering War. A giant fight for magic and a fight against the Fox Clan. As with this magic, the Fox Clan was practically becoming demons, with them also influencing the use of magic too. But then one day, the Fox Clan was surrounded and they had no other choice but to just give up. With that, all masks were destroyed and the people on the island had to get rid of the magic somehow. So they built gates, all leading to the spirit realm, which is a place where all evil spirits and demons lie. And that's where most of the remains of the evil magic was sent. And then after that, the spirit realm gates were closed. And ever since then, magic was banned on Oninoshima. Until now. The impact of the Zero Shard caused the old Spirit Realm gates to reawaken, with demons leaving the Spirit Realm to then step foot on the surface of Oninoshima. And as the Spirit Realm is linked once again with the island, magic is now back. It's reawakening, and everybody is starting to notice. Now, Hope is no longer known as Heroic Hope. She's now known as a Shadow Blade Hope with a new ninja style. And Jones is back to his usual vengeance self, not being Captain Jones anymore. But the main question is, why are Hope and Jones here? Like, why are they specifically on the Chapter 6 island? Well, she was actually called to the island by Pandora's box. She said this to her sister during Remix.
Yeah. I think it's time for me to go. With all of your connections, you probably know this already. But Pandora's box is a part of something bigger. I can't shake the sense that I'm a part of it too. I don't know where I'm going or when we'll see each other again.
So yeah, for some reason, Hope was guided to the island by the Oracle to fix important matters related to Pandora's box, and of course, Hope brought Jones with her. But yeah, as of now, Hope and Jones are actually looking for the 0-point shard that landed on the island. I came here searching for something, a strange and powerful artifact. Let's just say, it doesn't surprise me that this island's myths and ancient magics are waking up. So the Oracle, or Hope, saw a prophecy of the 0-point shard, and somehow the shard is the key to painting the bigger picture of Pandora's box. Now, when Hope landed on the island, she met this guy named Kendo, who is a resident and a samurai of Oninoshima. And when the two met, they instantly clicked, becoming very good friends. Kendo is also confused why all of the magic is starting to wake up on the island again, so he joins Hope in search for the 0-point shard. But when looking around, they came across one of the demons that came to the island by the spirit realm gate. And this demon's name was the Night Rose, and she was kind of like leading the new pack of demons. Well, at least that's what it seemed. Hope and Kendo then chased the Night Rose throughout Seaport City, and then across the whole island, until the Night Rose reached a spirit realm gate, and that's when a much larger demon came out. This big-ass demon being named Shogun X, and he is actually like the main alpha of the demons on the island. And this was our main introduction to the main villain of Fortnite Chapter 6, Season 1, Demon Hunters. But wait, I thought the Night Rose was the main villain of Chapter 6, Season 1. She wasn't very nice in the trailer. And well, this is actually because the Night Rose is being puppeteered by Shogun X. Yeah, she's being full-on controlled by the demon, I'm not even joking. The Night Rose actually used to be a normal girl who was very interested in demonic magic. However, one day, Shogun X approached her and completely took over her. And for centuries, the Night Rose has practically been puppeteered by Shogun X. Moving on, Kendo has lived on this island for practically the whole of his life, and he actually has 2 siblings. Kendo has a sister named Jade, who is very curious about the island's history and magic. However, she is also very reckless. More on that in just a bit though. The two also share an older brother named Daigo. And well, Daigo is an interesting one. Daigo is like that stick-to-himself older brother. He's a bit ominous and kinda creepy sometimes. He owns a mask shop in Masked Meadows called the Thousand Faces, which Daigo inherited from his grandfather. The interesting thing about this family of Kendo, Jade, and Daigo is that their ancestors are the ones that caused the Shattering War. Yes, I'm not even joking. Both of these 3 are related to the Magic Mask Maker for the Fox Clan, the one that started the Shattering War of demonic magic. Inside the Thousand Faces, there are quite a lot of masks, but there is one mask that is filled with demonic magic, and this is because it's from the Shattering War. But it's broken, however, still on display. Daigo looks up to his family's strong legacy with masks, causing him to become obsessed with them as well. Daigo likes to find, repair, and create masks. He's absolutely obsessed with them, and an obsession with masks isn't bad, right? Well, no, of course not, but in Daigo's case, he's also obsessed with the extremely magic and demonic ones. Hence why he has that Shattering War one on display. Daigo also has a workshop underneath Masked Meadows, and it's actually in the sewers. But this workshop means a lot to Daigo, as that's where he does all of his mask business. In the workshop, you can find tons of mask, books, and machinery. And this all helps Daigo to build and repair masks. Believe it or not, this workshop is actually a very crucial part of Fortnite Chapter 6, but more on that in just a bit. bit. A few weeks into season 1, Jade goes missing inside of the spirit realm. Yes, and Kendo needs to find out what actually happened to her. And Kendo has his suspicions on Daigo, as he refuses to talk about it. When confronting Daigo, he states that Jade is cursed by the demons, and so he made her a mask to protect her. But at the same time, Jade was also investigating the influx of the demons from the spirit realm, and she was actually investigating the portal at Night Shift Forest, but then she accidentally slipped into the realm itself. Yeah, that is the case, and now Jade is stuck in there. And when looking into the portal, you can literally see her face. Now, this confused many on the island because it's always been said that only demons can enter the spirit realm. However, if you are wearing a mask that holds demonic magic energy, you could technically be classed as a demon and fall into the spirit realm. And well, Daigo did admit to giving Jade that mask, so it's kind of his fault that Jade is now trapped in the spirit realm. But Daigo thinks she'll be okay. He loves Jade to pieces. He would never hurt her, so he has to do something about this. Now, this is when we discover the secrets of Daigo, when us as loopers found his workshop under the order of Kendo. And in his workshop, we find tons of machinery, masks, and a picture of Daigo giving Jade the mask that she would soon fall into the spirit realm with. And all of this machinery and experiments with magic caused this purple gas to leak out of the sewers of Masked Meadows. Daigo was up to something pretty interesting here. Now, in Night Shift Forest, we find some ancient magic resonance, and this is when we find out that the 0 Point shard is in the center of all of this new demonic magic. It's also when we find out that the demons are here on the island for the 0 Point shard itself. And luckily for the demons, they actually locate the shard itself before Hope does, which they then take it to the spirit realm, leaving only energy of it at its crater. About a month later, Godzilla comes to the island, and so does Monarch, who helps the loopers take down Godzilla. Also, a large pickle factory gets built near Hopeful Heights. But at the same time of everything, Jade is still trapped in the spirit realm. Now, when the 0 Point shard flew across Reality 783, splinters of it scattered across the Chapter 6 island. And we had to collect these splinters as Kendo believes that it could be the key to getting Jade back. Also, Hope makes us eliminate one of the demon guards, who then drops a demon map. And this map does reveal to Hope that the 0 Point shard is currently in the spirit realm. So this annoys Hope, but at least she now knows where it is. Speaking of demons and spirit realm stuff, the Night Rose has actually been freed. Well, kind of. She's been restored to her inner self as we temporarily defeated the puppeteer boss. Remember that Shogun X is the one pulling the strings though. Now, this next thing I'm about to say is a really crucial part of Fortnite Chapter 6. Using the splinters of the 0 shard, we craft 2 daggers, which would then be known as the Splinter Blades. And these are blades literally made out of 0 Point energy. We then give these Splinter Blades to the Night Rose, who the Night Rose says she'll give it to someone else. The Night Rose also believes that these blades could potentially free Jade, so she gives them to Daigo, in which Daigo is very grateful for this. Now, on the island near Warrior's Watch, there is this frozen spirit realm gate that is literally frozen in time. It hasn't been activated in many years. However, that's going to change soon, as Daigo is going to try and free Jade by this specific portal. In his workshop, Daigo has been working his cheeks off to make a mask out of magic that he could free Jade with. And unfortunately, to get this magic energy, well, well, Daigo needs to kill some of those sprites on the island, which is quite sad, but if it's for Jade, it's worth it. Now, Daigo sits directly opposite this frozen spirit realm gate in a bubble, and using all of the masks in front of him, he is starting to activate this frozen spirit realm gate, with it slowly connecting with the spirit realm again by the day. At the same time, Hope is watching all of this, spying on Daigo right next to him. So yeah, something very interesting is about to unfold. And on the 15th of February 2025, our first Chapter 6 mini live event happens. In an epic showdown, Daigo defeats Shogun X using his splinter blades. And well, this successfully frees Jade, so yay, Daigo has done it. But for some reason, the Spirit Realm Gate is now gold, and gold bars are coming out of it. And this gold causes everyone on the island to become a bit greedy. Now Jade reveals that in the Spirit Realm, the demons tried to break her, but they failed. However, there was a dark presence in there, and it had the 0-point shard. Jade also said that this dark presence knew about her, Daigo, and her family's dark legacy. So this was rather interesting. Also, during this event, there was a split second where Daigo looked into the spirit realm itself. And that's when him too saw this darkness. This darkness only intrigued Daigo more. Oh, and I forgot, in season 1 we were introduced to this big turtle who was destined to find his long lost love. And after taking care of the turtle for a bit, the turtle then was reunited with his lost love. So this big ass turtle did get his happy ending. Some time then passed on the island, and this whole entire new golden tinted crime biome appeared on the island. And in the center of it all is a crime city. And this is when we were brought into Chapter 6, Season 2, Lawless, where there is nothing but absolute chaos everywhere on the island. Everyone is hijacking vans, stealing from vaults, and raiding banks. They are all greedy for gold. As you can see in the cinematic trailer for Season 2, there is literally an entire chase for it. But all of this greediness, it's there for a reason. Let me explain. The person who is like the mayor of this entire new crime area is a wolf named Fletcher Kane, also known as the Baron. Fletcher Kane is extremely rich and wealthy. He owns an operation company named Alpha, who are mostly known for mining gold. But Alpha is also Fletcher Kane's personal faction. Fletcher also lives in the Lone Wolf Lair, which is a giant mansion in the new crime area. Now, what's the deal with this guy? Like, why is he so important to Season 2? Well, you see, Crime City used to be known as Crimson City, and the whole surrounding area was known as Crimson, and people happily lived here. Until one day, Fletcher Kane was elected as mayor of this new area, and the first thing he did was bring all of his banks and other Alpha operations here. But the most important thing that Fletcher did was raise inflation on the entire crime area. And he actually raised the inflation and tax by a lot, and I mean a lot. Fletcher is a greedy ass guy, and all of this tax inflation made it very hard for people to live in the crime area, almost impossible. So the residents of Crime City revolted, all becoming outlaws. And to this day, they all steal from Fletcher Kane, and their overall goal is to take him down. But Fletcher is powerful because he can just raise tax whenever he likes. So he technically steals from the outlaws, and he also hires agents to physically do it for him. So yeah, it's like a war between Alpha and the outlaws. And apart from Fletcher Kane, literally everybody in the Season 2 Battle Pass is an outlaw, all working together to steal from Fletcher Kane. Now, Hope is not really an outlaw. She is still trying to locate the 0-point shard. Well, even though she knows where it is, she just needs to retrieve it now. And she is still working very closely with Kendo and Jones. Speaking of Jones, he has moved to Demon's Dojo, where he now discusses with the Night Rose. The Night Rose is also helping to retrieve the 0-point shard, but she feels that something darker is on its way, as the Night Rose feels very uneasy, but it's probably nothing. Also, after Shogun X was defeated, the Night Rose has been permanently freed. Jade has also moved from the Frozen Gate to this little hut near Masked Meadows, and she's just kind of laying low, you know. But yeah, Jade is extremely worried about her older brother, Daigo, as she knows that Daigo is now really intrigued by this darkness within the spirit realm, the one that has the 0-point shard and wants Daigo. Jade thinks that Daigo isn't strong enough to face this dark presence, as according to Jade, it will only take him. But do you think Daigo cares about what others think? Hell no. As of now, Daigo is laying very low in his workshop, so trying to think of something that he could face this darkness with. Daigo did also move the Shattering War Mask down with him. Daigo is actually an extremely crucial character of Season 2, probably the most crucial, but more on that in just a bit. Now, around the island, there are black markets, and these are the places where the outlaws lay low. One of these outlaws being an opossum named Skillet, and he is kind of like the alpha of the outlaws. Yeah, and he gets us to steal a lot of stuff from Fletcher Kane. But then we meet up with Valentina, who we have to protect whilst she's hacking into Fletcher Kane's safe in Outlaw's Oasis. Fletcher Kane is also a bit like Kato Thorne. He owns quite a few resorts, but he's mostly known for his mining and obsession with gold. gold. Like, literally, just to look at the crime biome, there are tints of gold everywhere, and this all comes from his mines. In Season 2, there is also this outlaw named Big Dill, who is a pickle, and he was born in the Kappa Kappa factory. Big Dill is also a rapper and a part of the Tasty Boys, alongside with the Brat. And he is mostly known for his song Run Amok that he sings during the Chapter 6 Season 2 cinematic trailer. Now, what does Fletcher Kane want? Well, he wants to get rid of the outlaws on the island. So basically, he wants full power, and he also wants to specifically eliminate Midas. A bit of history: before Fletcher Kane took over the crime area, he was actually very good friends with Midas. Until Midas ditched him and became an outlaw due to all of the crazy things that Fletcher was doing. And Fletcher took this as a betrayal from Midas, so he now fully targets him.
If any of you see Midas in the field, you know where to aim. I want those golden hands mounted on the walls of my study. We have a Midas sighting, sir. Then why are you talking and not shooting?
At the same time of all of this, we also help Cassidy Quinn steal one of Fletcher's favorite cars.
Sir, they took your car when we were looking, and retrieve my stolen vehicle, or I'll retrieve your worthless hides. There are outlaws in my home. What am I paying you for? Eliminate them!
So Fletcher is being driven crazy, and he is also the first person to receive voice lines in Fortnite Chapter 6. Well, Fletcher and his henchmen, of course. And Fletcher just keeps raising the bounty for Midas. He wants him down.
The bounty on Midas just went up tenfold. If you want to become wealthy beyond imagining, bring me the man with the golden hands. Alpha team's down. They need backup. Retrieve their masks and inform recruitment we have vacancies to fill.
Wait, what masks? Okay, so at one point, Fletcher and his Alpha team completely raided Daigo's shop and stole a bunch of masks from there, and as you know, these masks will obviously enhance the henchmen. So Fletcher doesn't want them wasted. Now, lately, Fletcher has been in touch with Daigo, who is again laying low in his workshop. Fletcher is actually paying Daigo a lot of gold, so a really powerful and strong magical mask can be made for him. And with this mask, Fletcher plans to wipe out the outlaws. But in order for Daigo to make Fletcher this mask, gold and machinery must be delivered to Daigo's workshop.
Alpha Team 3.0 is on the move. But, sir, what's the mission here? Daigo gets the gold he needs, and I get the power he promised. That's all you need to know. The machine's been installed in the workshop, sir. Finally, some good news. Daigo will be pleased. Petty superstition should keep the locals away from Daigo's workshop. But if curiosity gets the better of them, you know what to do.
As Daigo doesn't want anyone knowing that he's secretly working with Fletcher Kane. At least that's what Fletcher thinks. Now, with the help from Alpha, Daigo's workshop has been fully restored. And newsflash, Daigo will be repairing the Shattering War Mask and giving it to Fletcher Kane, with it already actually being repaired.
Tell me again, what does it look like? Well, it's a mask. And it glows. But not with light. Something more, sinister. Perfect.
It glows with demonic magic, and Fletcher actually thinks he's going to be getting this mask. But he's not. Daigo isn't stupid. He's not going to give the current villain on the island a much more powerful mask that could just wipe anyone out in an instant. No, Daigo wouldn't do something as stupid as that. Instead, Daigo will most likely betray Fletcher with him using the mask for himself. And it seems that Daigo will be using this mask against the dark presence.
We're proceeding to the portal phase shortly. It's all over. They have no idea.
Yeah, whatever you say, little bro Fletcher Kane. But yeah, the portal phase is the process of rebuilding a gate to the spirit realm. And Fletcher will also help Daigo with this as he wants the 0-point shard too. But Daigo is only rebuilding the gate as he wants to face the darkness of the spirit realm and find out what it truly wants and its plans with the 0-point shard. Speaking of the 0-point shard, Midas is also now working with Hope and Jones and the Nitros to retrieve the 0-point shard. Midas has had experience with this. He knows it's trouble and he can't let anyone else get it. So as the war for gold still goes on, the battle for the 0-point shard will soon take place. Daigo will also soon use Fletcher Kane to take care of us whilst he's doing his stuff. And that's exactly what Daigo does, as he is now slowly reconnecting the Magic Moss's spirit realm gate with the spirit realm itself, with Fletcher Kane beside him to make sure there is no interference. But if the Fletcher Kane boss does get eliminated, then Daigo just walks away. After some time, Daigo successfully connects the gate with the spirit realm, and as he is wearing his demon mask, he can just run in, only for this to then happen. In hopes of confronting this dark presence, Daigo gets turned into a full-on demon by this dark presence. This right here, by the way, is not the dark presence itself. It's just a puppeteered mask that the dark presence is using to completely wipe out Daigo's mind and transform him into a demon, who is now fully puppeteered by the dark presence. So Daigo is kind of getting Nitro's treatment here. But of course, this demon version of Daigo is much stronger than Prime Nitro's. He can also teleport now, which is what he does to sneak up on the Tasty Boys in his workshop. Now, whilst this was all going on, this moon-sized ship started to slowly but rapidly make its way towards the island, only for this moon-sized thing to be revealed as the Death Star. Yes, from Star Wars, and this brings us into Fortnite Chapter 6 Mini-Season 1 Galactic Battle. Yeah, that's the official name of this season. It's not called, Season 3. Because Mini-Season 1 Galactic Battle is only 1 month long, making it, of course, a mini-season, a bit like Remix. And so the season after Mini-Season 1 Galactic Battle is Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3. Okay, so the Death Star, which is mega giant, is now drawing closer to the Fortnite Chapter 6 island. And the person controlling the Death Star is Emperor Palpatine, Palpatine, who is also known as Darth Sidious. And he is in charge of the Galactic Empire, who are the main villains of mini-season 1. And the Galactic Empire own the Death Star. Now, why did Emperor Palpatine bring the Death Star and the Galactic Empire to the Chapter 6 island? Well, because Emperor Palpatine wants power. In the cinematic trailer, Emperor Palpatine stares at a hologram of the Death Star levitating above the Chapter 6 island, but the Death Star is aligning with Lone Wolf Lair. And the line is green, which is meant to represent the Death Star's giant green laser. And this means that the Death Star is targeting Lone Wolf Lair. But like, why Lone Wolf Lair? Well, underneath Lone Wolf Lair is this mystical glowing face statue, which used to be underneath Lost Lake. And this glowing face is actually referred as the heart of the Chapter 6 island. So, of course, it's going to be very powerful, and that's why Palpatine wants it. And this heart probably also has something to do with the 0-point shard as well. Sorry, I mean 0-point shards. As it has now been confirmed that there is more than one 0-point shard circulating around the Chapter 6 reality. And of course, the Dark Presence holds one of them in the Spirit Realm. Now, mini-season 1 is split into 5 parts. The first part being Imperial Takeover, which is where the Galactic battle begins. The Galactic Empire are sent to conquer the Chapter 6 island, starting off with Captain Phasma, who leads the army of First Order Stormtroopers, who are scattered around in bases across the island. But Captain Phasma herself lays low at the First Order base, which replaced Demon's Dojo. On the other side of the island is Samurai Darth Vader, who is technically now a Shogun. And of course, he took over Shogun Solitude. So yeah, this entire island has practically been taken over by the Galactic Empire, with even giant star destroyers above the island. And all of this is under the orders of Emperor Palpatine. Now, the group against the Empire are the Rebels, who lay low at the Resistance base ran by Poe Dameron, who is a professional pilot. But the main leader of this protagonist faction is Leia. However, the Rebels, they are really outgunned. They are really worried that they will lose this galactic battle. And this is due to them being such a small matter of resistance. But behind the scenes of everything, Emperor Palpatine is watching, analyzing every step made within this galactic battle on the island. General Grievous is also on the island as well, who is of course trying to collect lightsabers, not really taking part in the galactic battle. Now, you're probably wondering what happened to the cast of Season 2 Lawless. Well, after Daigo ditched Fletcher Kane to of course become a Demon Daigo, Fletcher Kane was left very outgunned, and that's when he was humbled by the Outlaws. We don't know if Fletcher Kane died or escaped, however though, he got defeated, meaning that the Outlaws won, and after they found this out, they low-key blew up every single bank belonging to Fletcher Kane. Do the Outlaws play a part in galactic battle? No, they don't play a single part at all. However, our iconic duo Hope and Jones very well do, becoming rebels against the Galactic Empire alongside with practically every other looper on the island. Now we move on to part 2 of this galactic battle, which is named The Pull of the Force, where the Sith Lord Darth Maul appears on the island, as well as the Jedi Master Mace Windu also comes to the island to help the rebels. Chewbacca also comes to the island to help us with this galactic battle as well. Part 3 of Galactic Battle is Mandalorian Rising, which of course focuses on the Mandalorians on the island who actually took over Hopeful Heights and replaced it with their outpost Enclave. And the Mandalorians are actually supporting the Resistance in this galactic battle because the Empire betrayed them. So the Mandalorians' assistance, of course, helps the rebels a lot. Now, whilst this is all going on, the destroyed Spirit Realm gate that Daigo originally used to free Jade is now being rebuilt at the Fletcher Kane mountain, which is the mountain that originally crushed this gate. But that's not the point. Who is rebuilding this Spirit Realm gate? Well, Demon Daigo is, who is lurking within the shadows of the crime area and the Spirit Realm. As again said, this guy can now teleport. He doesn't need a Spirit Realm portal to enter the Spirit Realm and back. But then why is this guy rebuilding the Spirit Realm gate? Well, it's so that Demon Daigo can bring an army of demons to the island. Whilst this galactic battle has been going on, Demon Daigo has been working with a new demon variant of Core to form a whole new giant army of demons so they can sabotage the island. But all of this is of course under the control of the Dark Presence. And this new giant demon war led by Demon Daigo will in fact be the main theme of Chapter 6, Season 3. Part 4 of the galactic battle, Star Destroyer Bombardment, is quite a brutal part, as full-on Star Destroyers are now being sent to the island to just wreck it. And this is where everything takes a step closer to Emperor Palpatine's final plan. He is currently charging up the Death Star's giant green laser so it can strike on Lone Wolf Lair when ready. And this all brings us into the final part of the galactic battle, Death Star Sabotage. An unlikely band of heroes posing as TIE fighter pilots and their captured X-Wing counterparts have a plan to infiltrate the Death Star. Only if they can disable the battle station's critical defense systems can the final attack run begin. But the mission will not be easy. All in either an X-Wing or a TIE fighter, Hope guides us into the Death Star itself. And from there, we must disguise as either a stormtrooper or the stormtrooper's prisoner, so we can calmly walk past all of the other stormtroopers working on the Death Star. As remember, our goal is to sabotage it by destroying all of the Death Star's defense systems. And this is so the Blue Squadron, who are currently surrounding the Death Star, can get a perfect shot on the defenseless Death Star, hoping this would lead to its destruction. But yeah, we just slowly walk through the Death Star, all being very calm. We can hear Blue Leader, who is currently trying to fight off some of the Death Star's defense. And so far, everything seems to be going smooth. We come across the first defense system that we need to sabotage, these blue generators. Hope instructs us to destroy these, and that's exactly what we do. Moving on, the blue team seem to be making a lot of progress, and after quite a bit of walking, we come across Hope, who is currently disguised as a stormtrooper, and she starts guiding us from now on. And that's when we also bump into Jones, also disguised as a stormtrooper, and he is with Fishstick, who is quite idiotic and uses a rift to go in space. So yeah. Moving on, Hope and Jones are going in separate directions, although we still follow Hope. And for the next few bits, we gotta make sure we are armed, so we pick up some guns. We continue following Hope until we come across the power for the Death Star's guns. And using our guns, we sabotage it, so that's another defense system down, making things a hell lot easier for the Blue Squadron outside of things. After this, we reunite with Jones once again again who is now following us. And we end up in this pretty large room where Jones locates the main control panels for the Death Star, and then loosens the Death Star's protective panels, and that's when we see Fishstick floating in space. And we do also see the Galactic battle from outside. We then destroy some more defense systems, which caused more of the Death Star's guns to stop firing, and this really helped out the Blue Squadron. And that is the third defense system of the Death Star down. And now, with the Death Star having barely any defense, the Blue Squadron are ready for their attack run. But then Jones gets confronted by two stormtroopers, and after a failed attempt to brainwash, we have now been spotted. That causes the Death Star's alarm to go off. Everyone now knows that we are intruders. So we have to run, and we follow Hope. But whilst doing this, stormtroopers come out to try and attack us. So we just have to run past hordes of stormtroopers. Whilst on the outside of everything, the Blue Squadron are on the verge of beginning the attack. After tons of even more running, we are screwed when we come across an incomplete bridge. So we are kind of screwed, but after some hot wiring from Jones, the bridge extends, and we continue running, trying to find an escape from the Death Star, but we just come across even larger hordes of stormtroopers. But after a TIE fighter literally crashes into us, we then fall deeper into the Death Star. So we are pretty cooked, especially Hope, who is still stuck up there. So now we have to follow Jones, which is where we end up in this dark red room. Then after hearing a sinister laughter, this plays.
I was right.
Transpired has done so according to my design.
And that's where the main villain behind Galactic Battle, Emperor Palpatine, rises, with his red lightsaber in hand. And he then attacks us with his lightning powers, which are very strong and do weaken us a lot. But that's when Hope finds her way back to us, with a rift to go, and she throws this rift to go at Palpatine's lightning, which triggers the rift to go and rifts us back to the Chapter 6 island of Oninoshima, just in time for the Blue Squadron's attack. And as it now has no defense, the Death Star is very cooked. So the Blue Squadron's attack does cause the Death Star to full-on explode. However, a bit of debris from the destroyed Death Star lands directly on the Spirit Realm portal, causing it to literally explode and react with a spire. And this was not good, as it marked the beginning of a new threat, bringing us into Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3 Super. At first, we all thought the Chapter 6 island was on an island, but we were very wrong about that, as the live event and Season 3 confirmed that it is actually inside of a reality bubble, a lot like Reality Zero, meaning that there is a flip side to Oninoshima, so this was insane news. Now, straight after the Death Star exploded, Superman rifted straight outside of the Chapter 6 reality, so he went to go check it out. Also, when a piece of the Death Star hit, a giant purple shockwave was created, and it practically wiped out everybody on the island, as for some reason this shockwave gave most people on the island superpowers. There was also a battle bus in the sky, with some loopers inside, and this shockwave caused caused the battle bus to crash, currently falling down from the sky, but Superman got to the island on time and saved this bus. So Superman saved the day, but due to this shockwave, the just saved people on the bus all gained their own type of superpower. Overall, this shockwave changed many people on the island, including us. And this was very fortunate. Not just because a superpower is cool, but because a new empire of demons from the spirit realm were now attacking the island. And this moment was always destined to come, because Galactic battle had been leading up to it. On the island was now the Mask Maker, the main villain of Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3. And he came to the island with his demon army, but he also arrived along with demon spires and monoliths, which were built to destroy this island's energy, and that's what they do to Masked Meadows. Absolutely demolishing it and turning it into Demon's Domain, a huge temple, which belongs to the new demons on the island, and of course to the Mask Maker himself, as that is the demon's new base. But all of this was directed by the dark presence inside of the spirit realm. But the main threat of this season is the Mask Maker, who is actually Daigo. But it's the corrupted demon form of him that we saw in Lawless, as the dark presence is now practically puppeteering Daigo, but he is now known as the Mask Maker. And due to this puppeteering, the Mask Maker is really strong. Now, the lieutenant of this new demon army on the island is actually Core from Chapter 2 Season 8, but it is a new variant of her known as Mercenary Core. And unlike the Mask Maker, she is not a demon. She actually bound herself to the dark presence, with then the Mask Maker building Core a new mask, making her stronger than ever. Alongside with this, we have the demon spires, which are not good. They are practically the demon's main weapon, as again said, they destroy this island's energy. And at first, you can really tell that they are doing their job. So, yeah, the island is very cooked. But we are not hopeless, and this is due to the new superpowers. Now, when seeing this, Hope realized that she can not fight this on her own. And just to mention, this shockwave did not give Hope any superpowers. The same goes to Jones and Midas, and pretty much every other character from Season 1 and 2. But back to Hope. How was she going to deal with this? Well, her and Jones had an idea to open a superhero academy for the loopers with the new superpowers, so they can be trained to fight off these demons. And thanks to funding from Midas, this superhero academy was now a thing, replacing the POI of Magic Mosses. A Utopia city was also built for these new superheroes as well, and that replaced Seaport City. Now, this new superhero academy was obviously a school, and the heads of this academy were of course Hope and Jones, each with their very own office. Jones's academy office is practically the exact same as his Imagined Order office. The Night Rose was the academy's main teacher, teaching all of the superheroes combat and tactics. Also, the academy had Fishfic as the gym teacher, Joss as the chemistry teacher, Peely as the flight teacher, and Robin and Superman also volunteered as teachers for the academy as well, alongside with also fighting for this academy too. So yeah, this superhero academy was going well, and Hope actually decided to name it Supernova Academy. Now, just a a school is not good enough to defeat these demons. So Hope put together a new superhero team named the Supernovas. And they will of course represent the Supernova Academy. And the new Supernovas are the heroes that were on that very battle bus. So that's Light Rider, a superhero with res energy superpowers, who surfs on pure res energy. Kill Switch, the best with guns, and he is the Academy's tracker and hunter. He is also the most smartest when it comes to tactical battles. Haley Sky, the cheerleader for the Supernova Academy, who turns into a storm beast. Morgan Mist, a goth chick with dark shadow powers. Synthwave, who was listening to music when the shockwave happened, causing her to gain superpowers of pure beats. And Ziggy, who was actually a snapshot of Jones, who had a chameleon on him when this shockwave happened, and that's how he turned into this, Ziggy. And his only superpowers are sleep. But yeah, these are the main fighters for the Supernova Academy, known as the Supernovas. And because they are the most important, they have their own rooms in the Academy building. Superman and Robin are also kind of part of this team as well. Now, what happened to the Spirit Realm portal at Crime City itself? Well, it just vanished in this season. But there are hordes of dark clouds above containing dark magic that lead to Demon's Domain. Now, Season 3 introduced us to Island Stories, which are lore quests that focus on specific characters. At first, Kendo believes that Daigo intentionally became this demon mask maker, but he does eventually realize that some dark force is controlling him, of course the Dark Presence. Hope's plan is to defeat these spires, save Daigo, find a way into the spirit realm, and confront the Dark Presence there. This will help Hope retrieve the 0-point shard. Also, although it wasn't Daigo's intention, Kendo will never forgive him for this. Daigo's sister, Jade, is also very upset about the mask maker. But because it was the sprites that supported Jade when she was stuck in the spirit realm, she sent us to check up on the current sprites on the island. And that's when she learns about the new Season 3 Super Sprite. Now, Morgan Mist grows a bit suspicious of the Supernova Academy. So as her shadow variant, she does a bit of investigating and she gets us to help. And after gathering a lot of clues, she discovers the actual purpose for the portal at Utopia City. Well, I forgot to mention that the 0-point vault is back in Season 3, no joke. And a portal in Utopia City is connected to it. And when bringing a sprite near the portal, Midas comes out of the vault, who compliments Morgan's spying skills and says that the 0-point vault will be used to store the 0-point shard when we get our hands on it. But to do that, we need to confront the Dark Presence. And in Season 3, it's been confirmed that the Dark Presence is currently working with the Storm King. Yes, the last reality beast. And this confirms that the spirit realm is now connected to the last reality. But it seems that this was somewhat always the case, as the spires seem to be powered by cubes. The mask maker isn't just attacking the Battle Royale island with the spires, he is also attacking the Lego reality with them. But yeah, then Hope admits to using Midas to fund this superhero academy, which could be a little bit of a risky decision, but honestly, Charlie Wen seems to be making Midas more of a main character. At the beginning, the Supernova team didn't really get that along, but after many battles, they're getting along okay, and they're a good team. They are doing great at representing the Supernova Academy. But yeah, in the meantime, Midas asks the outlaw Skillet to do some investigating, in which he does a horrible job. But Midas does realize that most of the Supernovas don't really trust him. Speaking of the Supernovas, there is actually a second team that contains the superheroes of Knight, Reboot Man, Jewel, Diamond, and Champion Crystal, but no one really cares about this second supernova team, honestly. But either way though, things can't stay well forever. Because at some point this season, the Mask Maker proceeds to lock the hell in. Not only has he got a new glowing variant, but he plays a major attack on the Supernova Academy, sending spires to destroy the energy of the area and his demon army to ransack the POI and cause lots of chaos. And unfortunately, the Supernovas lost this fight, and they had also lost the Supernova Academy building, because although the building itself is still standing, it's very vulnerable and was left abandoned. When hearing about this, Hope was nothing but hella pissed off, saying that she now does not care about freeing Daigo. She wants this Mask Maker dead. Because if you don't know, there is still a little bit of Daigo left inside of the Mask Maker. But the Dark Presence brainwashed him too much. This man is now very powerful and has practically no control. The Mask Maker is also starting to attack the island itself with demon monoliths, which are like 10 times worse than the spires. And I think you can see why. Now, all hope may be gone for the Superhero Academy building, but for the Supernovas themselves, yeah, they're still a thing, and they are all angry and upset. Even after the fact that Jones literally graduated them. Honestly, the Supernova Academy meant a lot to them, and they will make the Mask Maker pay. Because nobody is playing games anymore. The Supernovas are our only hope, and all of the anger inside of them could lead to our victory. Hope and Jones elected Morgan Mist as the leader of the Supernovas. And although she is a great pick and team worker, she's afraid that she's not good enough. But this is not leader behavior here. She has to provide hope for the rest of her team. And that's exactly what she does by sharing mementos for each specific supernova. And it is honestly quite a sweet moment. Can I just say, for some reason, Morgan Mist is the only person at the Supernova Academy building right now, but she's like underground. But yeah, the Supernova Academy building still means a lot to everybody on the island. And to tribute it, we carved the Supernova Academy logo using spire pieces. So that was honestly very wholesome. Also, these new demon monoliths literally ruined the crime biome in a single update by taking away all of its golden water. It is now just a normal river. These spires honestly took the golden effect away in general. The Mask Maker and his army have done a lot, but messing with the Supernova Academy was their greatest mistake. As nobody is holding back now, the Supernovas are very angry, and soon they will attempt to absolutely destroy the Mask Maker and all of the other demons and spires on the island. Because again said, it has reached a limit and nobody is playing games anymore. And due to everything, this time, Hope doesn't care if she ends up not freeing Daigo. But at the end of the day, it is all the Dark Presence's fault. Directly underneath Demon's Domain, there was this portal that was glowing purple, and it seemed to be charging up for something. Believe it or not, this portal was actually key to the Dark Presence's plan. And soon, the Dark Presence inside of the Spirit Realm would make Mask Maker Daigo execute this plan, leading us and the Fortnite Island into Super Showdown. The confrontation between the supernovas and something unimaginable. The mask maker Daigo would start levitating above Demon's domain and would say this.
The power of the mask is mine to wield. This is my destiny.
Right after this, Daigo would connect with every single monolith spire which is around Demon's domain. All starting to connect to each other, energy started flowing around the POI like crazy. And that's when the giant temple in the center of Demon's domain just blew up, including the portal, leaving nothing but a giant pool. So basically, the portal underneath Demon's domain just interlinked with the entire surrounding area, which is when a giant tentacle with multiple yellow eyes rose from beneath. And the first thing it did was just smack the absolute hell out of Mask Maker Daigo. This tentacle was such a random threat, and we were kind of cooked, but not for long.
Oh. Wait, this is actually insane so far.
Yep, the supernovas were now here to help us. And as this tentacle was literally attacking us and the island using power from the 0-point shard, each supernova had their turn of fighting this giant tentacle. With, of course, the leader of the supernovas, Morgan Mist, finishing it off. In defeat, the tentacle then sunk underneath Demon's domain, and the supernovas won! At least that's what they thought, because 3 more giant tentacles then rose from beneath the pool. Us or the supernovas would not be able to take these down. So we were pretty cooked this time. However, that's until Superman came along and chopped one of the tentacles in half and beat up the other ones, for the 3 of them to then sink back into the pool in defeat. After this, Superman destroyed every single spire monolith around Demon's domain, and then just left the island. No, I'm not even joking, we just saw this guy dip. But yeah, at least we won against that tentacle thing, but what even was that? Well, it most likely wasn't the Dark Presence itself, but instead just a beast for the Dark Presence from the Spirit Realm. And the Dark Presence clearly gave these tentacles powers of the 0-point shard to use against us, only for the tentacles to fail. However, when Superman used his laser eyes to chop that one tentacle in half, the other half of it landed right outside Demon's domain. And of course, it was just spilling out its purple, goopy blood. But the thing is with this tentacle is that it started to decay and rot extremely fast, with its purple, goopy blood just spilling all around the area, causing the attention from normal bugs on the island, which would feast on this blood. But the funny thing is that this purple, goopy tentacle blood contains genes relating to the last reality, meaning that this blood is not only contagious, but it is dangerous and contains some real messy genes. So when these normal bugs feasted on this tentacle blood, it changed them, making them somewhat stronger. They were now bugs from the spirit realm. All thanks to the last reality and spirit realm genes inside of this purple goopy blood. More specifically, it turned these bugs into Onimorphs, which are of course Oni, which means demon mutated bugs. And these extremely early Onimorphs would just hide in hives outside of the tentacle. But yeah, we won against that giant tentacle. However, this tentacle was just an obstacle towards a threat much worse. A threat that Superman kind of caused by chopping that one tentacle in half. An Onimorph bug invasion was about to occur, and as it shares the same blood as the tentacle from the spirit realm, the Dark Presence had the opportunity to attack the island with these Onimorph bugs even more. So technically speaking, Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3 Super ended off in a loss for us and kind of a win for the Dark Presence inside of the spirit realm. By the way, what happened to Daigo? Well, after he was smacked by the tentacle, he woke up, as that smacking had freed him from his mask maker corruption, so Daigo was now free. A bit of time passed, and the Onimorph bugs emerged from the ground, now fully grown. And they completely invaded the island as this tentacle blood made the bugs much stronger. And don't forget that these bugs are now bugs from the spirit realm as they contain the blood. And this unfortunately does mean that this bug invasion is under the full control of the Dark Presence inside of the spirit realm. Which is just amazing for the Fortnite island. Like, we dealt with a giant demon and spire invasion, and now we have to deal with this. And on day 0, the island is already extremely struggling with dealing with these bugs, because they are just full on invading everywhere on the island, and they are really annoying. And they are also a giant threat to the island. So the people were pretty cooked, but that is until the Power Rangers rifted onto the Fortnite Chapter 6 island and set some ground by exterminating many of these bugs and rescuing the people affected. So yeah, now that some order has been stored in this bug invasion, the Onimorph bugs fled off and started to create their own hives, leading us into Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 4 Shogun Awesome. The bugs carved out their own blue slurpy biome, which was just a massive hive for them. And to do this, they completely destroyed Lone Wolf Lair and flooded frogs. This hive was known as the main base for the bugs. It was the main alpha hive. The bugs also completely destroyed Crime City and turned it into a hive. And they also went for the just recently destroyed Demon's Domain, turning it into Demon's Debris, a new hive for the bugs. And at each hive, there would be a bug queen. Overall, there are 3 types of Onimorph bugs. There's the normal swarmer, then there is the bomber, which is like a more bulky version of an Onimorph, and then there is the alpha, which is the bug queen, of course. The bug queens would protect every single bug hive around the island. The first bug queen that was seen in the invasion was one that was stomped on by Megazord. But overall, all of the Onimorph bugs invading the island are known as the Swarm. And the Swarm had already taken over quite a percentage of the island, turning all POIs they invade into one of their hives. Something interesting about these hives is that they are powered by Slurp. Yes, the Fortnite drink Slurp. Not only is there Slurp barrels like all around, but the hives emit blue smoke. And the main biome of Season 4 is literally a light blue Slurp biome, which is crazy. We have never seen a Slurp biome before, but I am all for it. Now, very early into the Swarm invasion, a group named the OXR came to the island. And they are kind of like a military group. OXR stands for Onimorph Extermination Rangers. And the OXR's only purpose is to exterminate all Onimorphs. Because believe it or not, Onimorph bugs have existed before in other universes. We just don't really know much about that though. The OXR are actually a giant group. And when the board found out that a swarm are now invading Reality 783, many OXR Rangers were sent to Oninoshima, the Chapter 6 island of course. so that they can defeat the swarm, save the island, and also do a bit of research on these Onimorphs in the meantime. The first thing the OXR did when they got to the island was create bases around some of the hives. They created one around the Crime City hive, and that was then the location of Ranger's Ruin was formed, but that base was teared to shreds by the bugs. The swarm was close to making a hive where that one train station was, but the OXR stopped the bugs from doing that and made a base there, which the bugs then destroyed, turning that POI into Swarmy Stash. But right beside Swarmy Stash lies the main and largest OXR base on the island, which is just known as OXR base. But it is the main base for the Onimorph Extermination Rangers. Now, the OXR would provide the island gear to deal with this bug invasion. For example, the Lead Spitter 3000, which is like a new minigun for bugs. And the Swarm Strike, which lives up to its name of striking the swarm with rockets. The swarm invasion was kind of like a war effort, like the OXR would recruit loopers around the island to help fight off the bugs, as teamwork and precise was the only way to deal with this giant swarm invasion. Of course, the Power Rangers and Megazord would help, but also Halo Spartans would come to the island too, who were very good against the bugs. Now, the OXR was a faction all to do with Onimorphs, so when they were on the island, they also collected a few samples of these bugs, so that research to find out more about this swarm can be done. Now, let's discuss a bit about the members of the OXR. First, we have Onyx Winter, who is actually the general of the OXR on the island, and she's in charge of leading all OXR moves towards this invasion. Onyx Winter is elegant, with her combat style being described as animalistic and brutal. So I think the swarm should be pretty scared of this general. Then there is Lieutenant Ripslade, who is actually Battlehawk from Chapter 1. And Ripslade is the main guy for war in the OXR. Like, he leads most of the war effort against the swarm on the island, who describes the OXR as the best fighting force in existence, because the OXR have got each other and they never give up. He also explains the bugs a bit more. Swarmers are the little ones. They go down easy, but take them out before you are surrounded. Bombers will hit you with projectiles. Keep an eye on the sky when they are on the field. And the queens, well, they are really, really big ones. Scary and powerful. Again, you can find a bug queen at every hive, but the OXR normally leave the bug queens to Megazord, which absolutely slays the queens in a matter of seconds. There is also Agent Patch, who is a panda, and he is a very skilled agent of the OXR. And overall, Agent Patch, Onyx Winter, and Ripslade are like a triarchy. They are the main three of the OXR on the island. And the three of them sometimes speak to us by the car radio about the war effort.
Infestation's worse than we thought. Stay low and lock in.
Oh, get ready to bust some bugs.
It's about to get grisly.
You want it, Dan Cartel? Come and get it!
As you can tell, the OXR are extremely locked in. They've always been ready for it, as Onyx Winter does actually reveal that generations of OXR assets have been in hiding, waiting for the swarm to re-emerge. Which is interesting. Again said, we don't know anything about the past OXR and the swarm. But the OXR aren't just on the Fortnite Chapter 6 island, they are actually probably in a lot of universes. Another member of the OXR is Yumi, who is actually a K-pop star. And let's just say, she is the visual. She is an OXR idol, and thanks to her K-pop career, she does promote the OXR a lot. And this of course really helps, so Yumi is a very respected representative. A part of the OXR is also Battle Gamer May, who is actually May from Chapter 4. So May is back, now of course being the Battle Gamer May, with these robotic arms. May is now a specialist with the OXR weapons, and she sometimes provides us with some special ones, as she is the head of a black market in the OXR base. But yeah, overall, the Onimorph Extermination Rangers are really trying their best to beat this swarm on the island. And we are doing everything we can to help the OXR in the war effort against the bugs. Now, what's going on with Hope and Jones this season? Well, they are underneath Supernova Academy, where they are actually heavily analyzing a piece of the tentacle, running tests on it because they are trying to research why this bug invasion is truly happening. But in reality, they know for a fact that it is all the Dark Presence. Hope's best bet is to now take this fight to the Dark Presence inside of the Spirit Realm, as she needs to end his literal torture towards Reality 783. Hope is also struggling with her visions once again, as she's been seeing much less, meaning that this is one of the only times where she doesn't know what happens next, and to be fair, Hope is kind of scared. Jones is also in a pretty uncomfortable position right now as well, as these bugs are distracting his plan of retrieving the 0-point shard. So the Fortnite Island is a bit doomed in Season 4. But yeah, now in Season 4, Daigo is free. He is no longer the mask maker Daigo demon that he was in the last season. He explains that after he was freed, Jade embraced him with open arms immediately. However, Kendo was more cautious, as Daigo was very arrogant and he sees himself as a fool for falling for the Dark Presence. But as of now, the island is just grateful that he is back and that the Mask Maker demon is no more. However, Daigo does explain that the veil between this world and the spirit realm is thinning, and it's as if a creature is slamming against a glass wall between our realms, and he is of course referring to the Dark Presence in the spirit realm. And also that the cracks are growing, and Daigo does not know what will happen if it shatters. Daigo is now at an OXR base alongside with the Night Rose, who does say similar things to what Daigo had just said. Kendo and Jade both spawn in a separate OXR base, and well, Kendo's kind of going in his emo era, saying that all his life he'd been waiting for a teacher, a purpose, but now it's time for him to carve his own destiny. No more waiting. Kendo was like this last season as well, by the way. Jade is also very sad this season as the bugs killed the sprites. Yeah. The bugs killed the cute sprites. And those sprites was really the only thing that Jade had, so she's very sad. Something pretty funny is that when Daigo kills some of the bugs, he says, "Go back to your master insects." Where he's of course referring to the Dark Presence, but yeah, again, everyone, including Daigo, the Night Rose, Kendo, and Jade, are helping the island win against this swarm. That's why most of the crucial storyline characters are now at an OXR outpost. The only characters who are working on their own thing during this war effort are of course Hope and Jones, as they are planning the finale and trying to get an understanding of why and how this is all happening. It all extremely stresses them out, yes, but it introduces us to their plan, known as the Spirit Realm Siege. And this plan revolves around 3 steps. Enter the Spirit Realm, confront the dark presence, and then retrieve the 0 Point Shard. We've never actually ventured out into the spirit realm before, so we've got to take some measures and be careful. The thing is with the siege though, is that everyone is involved, including the OXR, as the only thing to perfect this plan is teamwork. However, the OXR say that they will fully invest in the spirit realm siege once the bug invasion has been fully dealt with. Overall, Hope and Onyx Winter are really getting along. What happened to the supernovas this season though? Well, they are also helping the island deal with this bug invasion. But the OXR makes the leader of the supernovas, Morgan Mist, very wary. As remember, Morgan is literally just the head of some academy group. She's never really been involved in any military groups before. So it's kind of scary for her, but she's still gonna continue fighting alongside with the OXR to end this bug invasion. And the supernovas will be supporting Hope and Jones and the OXR always. Also, when speaking to Killswitch at Utopia City, which is where all of the supernovas are at right now, he says that the OXR will never shape up to the supernovas as they have Storm Beast and that they are low-key better. But that's just classic Killswitch for you. Another thing on the island is that in season 4, all of the Fox Clan have gone. So Oninoshima is now Fox Clan free, now that Drift has actually gone to the OG reality. But yeah, it is just the River Guard on the island now. Hope finds out that these Onimorph bugs have their own way of just teleporting from the island to the spirit realm, which really intrigues her, and that's when she finds out that on the island there is an access point to the spirit realm, which just shows a portal connected to the Omniverse, but when engaging with this access point, it turns blood red like it's a portal to the spirit realm itself. It's all connected, and Hope does find out that this is the way. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention is that a reason why Kendo is so emo this season is because, well, him and Hope broke up. Yeah, the two are hardly even friends now, actually. It's quite sad, but it's because of all the things going on the island right now, and it's all really stressing out Hope, and Hope can't, like, multitask with a relationship, you know? So Kendo is really depressed and pissed off by this. Also, the character of Outlaw Midas is nowhere to be seen in Season 4, but this is most likely because he is guarding the 0 Point Vault wherever it is being hid, because it's not actually at Utopia City anymore. It's been moved to a much more secure place so that the bug invasion does not affect it. We don't know where it has been moved to, though. Mercenary Corps is also gone this season as well, but that is most likely because, well, the Mask Maker is no more. Later on into Season 4, and the Swarm evolves, with the bugs taking over Utopia City, turning it into a new hive for the Swarm, with a Bug Queen there as well, so thank God that this portal leading to the 0 Point Vault was moved. But on the bright side of things, a new bug gets added to the game, and it's actually a friendly bug known as the Roly-Polies. And you can roll in them. They are very nice to you. Although they are still technically a part of the Swarm, they are the only good bugs on the island. And the OXR actually refuses to kill them. But yeah, the Swarm turned Utopia City into Dystopia City. Now, very nearby Demon's Debris is this black marble monolith, and it's very tall and very random. However, it is actually a portal to another time and space. A portal to Alive 2007, which is where Daft Punk is. And going inside the monolith leads you to the pyramid, which is where a giant Daft Punk concert is taking place. So it's crazy that we truly saw the revival of Daft Punk in Fortnite. They're never getting back together though. I'm just clearing that bit up for you all though, as many people did think that this monolith would be used for storyline. The bugs would go on to then create another hive, this time like in a tunnel. It was underneath a mountain, and it was actually a pretty big one with a bug queen, of course, there. But as the swarm grows, so does the OXR, with them recruiting new members. Like these guys, and Evie even came back in Season 4 to join the OXR. Oh, and we can't forget about Street Ronin Kendo, which is the new Kendo skin. And yeah, at first glance, that may not look like Kendo, but it actually is Kendo. Damn, he's really expressing those dark days, you know, like... Yeah. Just let him be, guys. Just let him be. As he has not got his head in the clouds anymore. And he is tired of his siblings deciding who he is. But did they really even do that? It's just, you know, whatever, Kendo. Whatever, Kendo. You go, girl. Be yourself. But yeah, Kendo is now more involved with the OXR, as like he even wears an OXR helmet now and defeats a lot more bugs. I think if Hope saw this, she'd probably be laughing her ass off. Speaking of Hope, she made some new discoveries. She found out that she could use bug queen eggs from the spirit realm to maybe, like, weaken this access point and grant herself a better way into the spirit realm. She made us kill a bug queen to test if her theory was correct, and it actually was. Now, in the last few weeks, the OXR had really been locking in a lot more, killing a lot more bugs. All thanks to us, Megazord, and all of the others on the island helping. All signs were starting to show that the swarm was getting a lot weaker. And then, at one point, the bugs just vanished. All of them. They were fully defeated by the OXR. This guy called Dr. Theodore Flysby, which is like some new fly underneath Supernova Academy, explained that the bugs don't just leave for no reason, as they were pretty close to destroying this reality, may I just say. So it's very likely they all just ran back to the spirit realm. But either way, the swarm was now gone on the island, and that us and the OXR had won. Which brings us into the rebuilding phase. The Supernovas helped rebuild Utopia City and Supernova Academy. The OXR perfectly restored every single outpost affected by the bugs. But most importantly is that the bug biome was completely filled up and kind of restored. Well, there was this new POI named Bugswater Beach, and it was actually a museum which showed off some things that were used in the swarm invasion, like Megazord's sword, some corrupted rocks, a poster, and even merch. Another thing is that magical night shift trees started to grow around Demon's debris, turning the POI into Dreamy Domain. So Fortnite really did get the good ending here. And everyone on the island was extremely happy that we had won against this bug invasion. However, Guima from K-pop Demon Hunters started to invade the island with demons. But that is when Huntrix, the band from K-pop Demon Hunters, showed up and slayed many of these demons. None of this is canon to the spirit realm, by the way. This was a very short thing for some reason. It was quite random, but it was like, oh well. It didn't mean anything at all towards the Fortnite storyline, although Yumi was all in for it. But yeah, many on the island were just very shocked, but relieved that the bugs are now gone. But now that this is the case, all focus was shifted onto the spirit realm siege, with Hope now reversing the access point, meaning that we could just enter whenever. Well, not really. Daigo actually gave Hope his splinter blades, so she could use them to break into the spirit realm by the access point. And so far, the plan is looking good, but it's just not 100% ready yet. Although it is very near, and everyone is involved. At least, that is what they thought. On a ledge near creepy camps, a cartoony tree tree started to grow, growing larger by the day until it became a treehouse. And inside of this treehouse, there was nothing but a TV, which was static, but from time to time, it would flash an extremely distorted and grainy image from The Simpsons. However, the TV would flash one specific image that is not related to The Simpsons at all. A dark image of just a plain space with 4 red dots, which look like to be eyes. 0 point energy would also circulate around the tree, growing stronger by the day. All of this caused Hope and Jones's attention, and they started digging very deep into it. However, it's like this random tree was interacting with someone, or someone is interacting with it. And one day, the 0 point energy around the tree made contact with the access point to the spirit realm. Now, whilst this was all going on, Kang and Kodos, who are 2 green aliens, would pretty much spy on the island in their little UFO, because they are interested in how this loop works. As Kang and Kodos' main goal is to conquer this island. Yes, they want to conquer Oninoshima. There is not a reason to why they want to do this. Kang and Kodos just love conquering lands because they're 2 aliens who just love to create mischief. However, they are also obsessed with power. So when they saw the 0 point energy linking with the access point, of course they were flying around it, as they were very curious. And the 2 aliens were also trying to abduct players. Now this brought us into the Welcome Our Alien Overlords live event. Behind the access point was actually the Dark Presence himself, interacting with the 0 point energy by the access point so that the access point can open wider. You can even see one of the Dark Presence's eye from the other side. They're really trying to break in. Hope and Jones then rifted to the scene with Jones's rift device in his hand, and they can clearly tell that the Dark Presence was trying to breach from the other side. And as the access point was becoming more open, Jones pointed his rift gun at it, shooting his shot, which actually closed the access point. So Jones had stopped the Dark Presence from breaching to the Chapter 6 island. Well, for about 10 seconds, when the access point just exploded open and a giant beast started to walk through. Stepping on the waters, its eyes were now visible, and that is when it revealed all of its tentacles. This was our first true look of the Dark Presence from the spirit realm. It may look like he only has 4 eyes, but you need to remember his tentacles have multiple too. So he technically has like thousands of eyes. And all this time, it really was himself who attacked us during Super Showdown. But this was not good. The veil between the island and the spirit realm had now fully shattered, with the skies of Reality 783 turning blood red. We tried attacking this demon, but our bullets meant nothing to it, and that is when the Dark Presence attacked us with one of his tentacles. Kang and Kodos returned to the scene to find everyone fighting this Dark Presence, who, by the way, had the entire 0 point shard connected to his chest. Overall, though, this thing was huge, and it really did attract Kang and Kodos. The aliens want to help the Dark Presence completely conquer the Chapter 6 island, and so that is when Kang and Kodos started to shoot at Hope and Jones, and then abducting them into their UFO, and that's where there was a bit of a scrap. Kang and Kodos and Hope and Jones were fighting each other. It was pretty messy, I can't lie. And it honestly does show you how weak Kang and Kodos really are. But that is when Hope took the wheel of this UFO, and she started to blast at the Dark Presence using the UFO's turrets. But that is when the Dark Presence just grabbed the UFO with its giant tentacle hand, and then spinned up a very large access point. But before this UFO was chucked into the access point, Hope noticed the 0-point shard on the Dark Presence's chest, and tried her best to abduct it with the tractor beam. And as the UFO got thrown into the access point, Hope actually managed to abduct a tiny piece of the 0-point shard, with Jones then catching it. So yeah, technically speaking, the goal of retrieving the 0-point shard was kind of successful. Actually no, not at all, because this is only a really small piece of the shard. The Dark Presence still holds the most of it. For the Spirit Realm Siege though, well yeah, that was a giant failure. That was just a massive failure. It didn't even unfold because of this sudden breach. But yeah, Hope, Jones, Kang, and Kodos are now just traveling through the stream of the access point, as it's basically just an intergalactic wormhole. So everyone's panicking, and Hope and Jones need to get back to the Chapter 6 island. However, Kang and Kodos had a rather different idea.
I can redirect the wormhole to send us safely home to Springfield. Stand back. Wormhole calibration is an incredibly delicate task. Recalibrate! Recalibrate!
No! We have to go back to the island!
Springfield!
Island!
Springfield!
Island!
Springfield!
Island!
Springfield!
Island!
Springfield!
Island!
Springfield! Springfield?
Island?
Warning. Multiple realities have merged in a cynical brand mashup.
Wow. Springfield Island.
It's incredible. Now to conquer it.
Yeah, due to the constant changes in the recalibration, multiple realities merged in a cynical brand mashup, causing Springfield to be turned into a little battle royale island, known as Springfield Island. This was not ideal at all because the Dark Presence is still majorly attacking on Enoshima, whilst Hope and Jones and a few other loopers are now stuck here. To make things even worse, when the battle bus flew into the UFO, the 0-point shard fell out of Jones' hands, crash landing into the window of the Simpsons house.
The radio is saying if you find a glowing shard, call the police. It's alien, uncontrollable, immensely powerful, and deadly.
Something powerful and something. A lot of power, all right. Ooh, Easter egg! Okay, Homer. Do the thing you never do at work. Focus. Now we're remoting.
Is that a shard? And what are you doing to my living room?
Making it better. Try the couch.
Oh, it is soft. But you know I don't like alien tech in the house.
Marge, with this remote, I can turn all of Springfield into a paradise. End the tire fire. Save local journalism. Make something wonderful for all of us.
But can you make good decisions and... Oh, go wild.
I'll save this for later, baby. But right now, I got a device I don't understand, a high school degree I barely earned, and no sense of personal limits. I'm off to create Nirvana!
Oh, thanks, Homer!
Thank you, kind sir.
So yeah, Homer Simpson merged his TV remote with the 0-point shard. And with this 0-point shard remote, Homer can now do practically anything he likes. And he is making Springfield a paradise, using the remote to fix the things that needs to be fixed, and also just giving people unlimited supplies of stuff. So Homer Simpson is now kind of like a god.
Pour me a frosty mug of sugar, Mo. Making a town perfect is thirsty work.
Yeah, Homer, I swore I'd rip off my own head before ever saying this, but on the house, I love that now my toilet has a never-ending supply of toilet paper.
I got lots of great ideas. You ever look up at the sky and think, if the moon is made of cheese, why can't it be melted on giant nachos?
Don't get too showy, pal. Some out-of-town dungballs have been looking for you. They say that shardamajig is dangerous.
Don't let them know I'm here!
Yeah, don't worry. I kept them busy with one of your little, improvements.
Hey, these snacks you gave us are moving.
Yeah, they're self-feeding pretzels, huh? Open your mouth, they walk right in.
Jump away!
So yeah, Hope and Jones are looking everywhere around this new Springfield Island for the 0-point shard, which is currently being abused by Homer Simpson. We need that 0-point shard to get back to Oninoshima, so if Hope doesn't get it, well, things are gonna get worse. And all of this is literally a perfect example of great power being in the wrong hands. Now, it didn't take long for Hope and Jones to find out that Homer Simpson has the 0-point shard, as he appeared in a newspaper with it. And so now Hope and Jones know what Homer is using it for, to of course make Springfield a paradise. We try to negotiate with Homer, asking if we can get the shard back, but that's really not an easy job. Because no joke, Homer has already formed a relationship with this shard, as it is so powerful. He sees the 0-point shard as his best friend. So, no, of course he's not gonna give it back. Even after we did a few tasks for Homer, like he made us check out the new flavor of Slurpee. On the new Springfield Island, Homer Simpson's son, Bart Simpson, has a new mech suit, and he uses it to cause trouble around the island, spray painting El Bato everywhere, and also renaming Fortnite into Fartnite. Lisa also has a mech suit in this season, and of course it is more advanced than Bart. Owning most POIs on the island is Mr. Burns, the richest man on Springfield, and you might want to be careful of his hounds. Next to the Simpsons' house is good old Ned Flanders, the nicest diddly-diddle you'll ever meet in Springfield. There's also Krusty Clown, owner and main mascot of Krusty Burger. What happened to Kang and Kodos? Well, after their UFO got blown up, they just got stuck on the windshield of the battle bus. They are still alive though, of course. Now on Springfield Island, there is also Professor Frink, the main scientist of Springfield. And he is fascinated by this 0-point shard that Homer now has. And he really has done his research on it.
Homer, your shard is loaded with 0-point energy, the most dangerous force in the omniverse. Next, of course, to love. Let me study it for the sake of science, with the fame, the money, and the Nobel Prizes that they throw at you.
In good time, Professor. First, I must finish making Springfield a paradise.
Well, what more can you do? You've already turned my robocaller into a ladybot.
Let's go home, Tiger.
I shall rain abundance down upon my people, like a giant showerhead with a low flow restriction disabled. What does that cloud look like to you?
The toroidal electron cloud of the helium atom, which in layman's terms is a donut.
Behold, giant food from the sky!
It's just remarkable. It's remarkable. Well, you should certainly keep that shard for now. Although, it leaves me absolutely nothing to show the Nobel Prize Committee. Fantastic! I cannot wait to study me. Self-dissection, here I come. With the cutting and the looking and the ouch.
By pointing the 0-point shard remote at clouds, Homer now causes food to fall from the sky, and it's really giant. With there also now being donut storms on the island, and as you can guess by the name, it's just storms of donuts. Homer also turned Professor Frink into Peel-fessor Frink, a new peely version of Professor Frink, who cannot wait to study himself. But yeah, back to Hope and Jones. God, they really need that 0-point shard. Seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks are going by on Oninoshima, with the dark presence still there, turning it into an absolute hellhole. And we can only hope the ones who were left behind, like Daigo, Night Rose, Jade, Onyx Winter, and all the others, are okay. Because remember, it was only us, Hope Jones, and a few other loopers who were sent to Springfield Island. But we really need that 0-point shard soon, otherwise things are gonna get so much worse on Oninoshima. Homer Simpson having the 0-point shard is extremely dangerous, and we need to get it back. Everyone is tired of Homer too. He's just making a mess on Springfield Island at this point, with the people of Springfield now saying that he should not have this power. So Homer does try to get rid of this 0-point shard, but in a really stupid way.
Okay, Homer, you know how to handle angry mobs. First, get rid of the evidence, then blame Lenny. I can toss this where I dump all my garbage. So long, Trouble! Core flare-up. Good sign. Now to take a break. Lucky I filled up the town with comfy love seats. There's still some candy left in that candy bar wrapper. So many regrets. Losing family. Never got to eat candy bar. Fine donuts, kiss smart, stupid Flanders.
Homer plus 0-point energy makes an extreme reaction, turning the plant and surrounding waters purple, now filled with 0-point energy which makes you dash, and it also caused Homer Simpson to duplicate into many more brain-dead Homers, brainwashed by the shard, and they are pretty violent. When defeating one of these Homer clones, they get sent up into the air where they all form a giant cloud together.
We did it! The gas cloud is coalescing. Soon it'll shrink back to our own ordinary dad. Ah! It coalesced to a giant weird dad!
At least his underwear is also giant.
Oh, good. Something new for me to have nightmares about. The shard is hidden somewhere inside him. That's what's making him huge.
We'll have to find a way to coax it out of him. I'll start working on 4,000 pork chops.
Maybe he'll be a huge force for good.
Oh, or maybe not.
This is just great. Homer Simpson is now a bloody titan, with the literal 0-point shard inside of him. So this is just brilliant news for Hope and Jones. But soon Homer burps out the 0-point shard and Hope and Jones collects it, leading us into the 0-hour live event, which is our Chapter 6 finale, where we finally confront the dark presence we've been waiting to see all year. Let's roll the clip.
Okay, attention all realities. If you can hear this message, we need your help. The Dark Presence thinks he can conquer our island. Well, not without a fight. Prepare yourselves. We're about to go for a ride.
Perfect.
Now to fire this thing up.
So long, Springfield. It's been weird.
Here we go.
Did you finish the calibrations?
Of course.
And you accounted for dimensional variance?
Hold on. Just how about this? Okay, guess we're taking the scenic route.
Jones.
At least this trip's interesting.
You gotta be kidding me. Maybe give it another try.
Seriously, Jones?
Are we there yet?
Jones! Did we make it? Doesn't look like the island.
And that looks like just a whole lot of trouble. If he wants a fight, he's got one.
Take back our island.
Get on.
my shard.
This feels more like home.
Throughout history, the 0 Point has secretly connected civilizations. For over 1,000 years, the Imagined Order controlled the 0 Point, trapping people in an endless loop. Seven heroes came together to battle the Imagined Order and free the 0 Point. The conflict ended with the 0 Point shattered and strewn across all realities. And the fate of the Seven is unknown.
After defeating the Dark Presence and taking back the 0 Point Shard in the 0 Hour live event, we were sent to the Golden Coast Island, where everyone was having a blast. That's until a new Last Reality version of the Dark Voyager came to the island in his new spaceship Cradle, and instantly just blew up the battle bus, but luckily the bus is now fixed. The Dark Voyager was sent to the island by the Last Reality and shows interest in the 0 Point Shard at Loop Labs and the Order from the Seven. Yes, the Seven is somewhat back in Fortnite Chapter 7, with the Order crashing onto the island in a meteor and is looking into this new Dark Voyager villain, alongside with this new island's ties to the 0 Point, which will soon be fully rebuilt, by the way. The Foundation and the Visitor will also be returning later on this season to help the Order with her investigations. Hope and Jones will be helping too, as the Last Reality carry out their full comeback and their second phase of their wrath towards us. And that is our Fortnite storyline of 2025. This year has honestly been a great year for the Fortnite storyline and lore, and it's honestly been an honor covering it for you all. And I hope you all enjoyed this 2025 lore and storyline recap filled with updated explanations. Either way, I'll see you all in 2026. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And why not join my Fortnite Discord server? The link is down in the description below. Either way, here is my favorite Fortnite moment from this year.